I'm always far away.
I'm like, he's so far away.
She likes to eat the light up here, and my eyes are really blue when I do that.
Really, he just can't take the brightness.
I really can't. We had this post yesterday. For those of you who are Lord of the Rings fans, Diva lights are awesome, but they truly do make you see the Eye of Sauron. Just saying. Close your eyes.
They don't know what
look, it's the two
Diva
towers.
lights are. It's a big
Yes, they do. They
light
see
ring.
the circles in our eyes.
They see it's a big light ring. Anyway, hey, Joy and Andrew here. And
Under the bright lights, big city.
I mean, he's in rare form, people. So might be one of those lives.
Oh, it's gonna get better. I've already got ideas with props around me.
Oh, dear God. Anyway, so we actually went... No, stop. Oh, my...
Talking to the mic. That thing's heavy.
What is going on with this
Like,
guy?
seriously, that thing's heavy.
Okay, so we wanted to actually be serious
Well, one of us did.
and talk to you about this. Actually, I made a post about this earlier this morning on Instagram, and a lot of people were like, bam, I needed that. So I thought, well, let's talk about it over here on Facebook. Hey, Abby. Hey, Kelly. Good to see you guys. As you're tuning in, just let us know.
Oh, Kelly Clark!
What?
See, I didn't add the sun on the end of that.
I don't know.
Oh my God, the 40-year-old virgin. How do you...
What are you talking about?
Oh, Kelly Clarkson! When
What?
he gets... Oh, I can't... How do I even...
What are you talking about?
For those of you who can't see who's tuning in and watching, Kelly Clark is watching the video right now. One of us has seen the 40-year-old version where Steve Carell's character gets the hair ripped off his chest and in real time screams out, "Oh, Kelly Clarkson."
Oh,
I cannot believe I have to explain
I
this.
have never seen that movie, and I think you
I've
just...
failed you as a husband.
Really, I think the whole audience is not laughing. They're like, what just happened? Did he just have another Atrial Flutter episode? Because that was random. Anyway.
Okay, if you think I'm dying, hit the love button. If you know what the hell I'm talking about, hit the like button.
Okay, so anyway. Focus, people. Help us stay focused. I should have just done this by myself.
Nope, having fun.
Anyway, we were talking today on Instagram about how the adult excuse of I don't have time is basically the adult version of the dog ate my homework. And that was like a saying he actually came up with a few months ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, it is. And I can't even tell you how many times we have people who are like, I don't have time. And we've even said it, I don't have time.
Everybody has the same amount of time. It means you have to prioritize your time.
We all have the same 24 hours in a day. And I think, honestly, it means that you have, instead of looking at it as a time issue, you have a yes issue. Meaning, you've said yes to everything that has come your way, and now you are overextended, and you have let other people manage your time instead of you taking ownership over your time. There was a book I read last year called, or was it 2 years ago? I can't remember. I read books, people. But anyway, The Best Yes.
Which is such a change for her, honestly.
I know. Like, there was a time when I only read books like when I had to in college. It's crazy.
Or if they had lots of pictures.
But then I met Chris Lemma, who's a super brilliant friend of mine, and he was like, you got to read books. And I was like, okay. But anyway, The Best Yes from Lisa TerKeurst really talks about
That's
how
at least 2 years ago.
a lot of times we, especially women, we say yes to a lot of good things, but then that keeps us from saying yes to the great things. And so if you find yourself saying yes to like fundamentally like life-giving things, like your health,
That's a good thing.
that's a great thing. That's like a non-negotiable thing. That's like a brushing your teeth thing, you know?
Yes. There's so many places I want to go with this conversation.
Like, where is he gonna go? But if you have said like yes to so many good things that you can't say yes to the greatest things in your life, then that is a problem. And it's not that you don't have time, it's that you are not managing your time. And last year, well, actually, this is like 3.5 years ago.
Last year, 3.5 years ago, whichever.
Just one of those nights, people. Just try to follow along.
Good luck.
Good luck. So when I started as a part-time coach, I realized that I had said yes to a lot of good things, but that kept me from saying yes to like anything really great in my life. And I had to go through a period of like, it took me about 2 years to start peeling back the layers of all the things I had committed myself to, and to start using the word, wait for it, no. I know. It's like Nutsoville, right? Like we can actually use the word no. And so when people come to you and they're like, hey, can you, I remember last year, I will not name names. She's a dear friend of mine. I love her deeply. I would storm the gates of hell with a squirt gun for this person, but they asked me to like oversee the senior swimmers, like end of year project kind of thing. And I was like,
you've given too much information out on this one already.
No. And it's not because I
Well,
don't.
and that is so not your gifting.
No, it's
Like
not.
in any, seriously, I did not marry a crafty woman.
It would have required craftiness, people, and that's not my
You
thing.
gotta do that in 2 years.
I know, but I will deal with it then. But like today, I was like, no. So I'm learning that you actually can say no to things, and what that has done is made space in my life to say yes to the great things.
Exactly.
Right? Because like I said yes to everything.
She said yes to so many things. She said yes for me. And that was actually kind of a good thing in the beginning. That's a whole nother live we'll do about volunteering your spouse for things that you know they want to do but won't volunteer themselves. Oh yeah, that gets a like. All this other stuff, that's the thing
Volunteer
that
your
gets a like.
husband for everything!
People. People. Sauron, back in my head.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, when you do say yes to all those other things, the stuff that you really should prioritize, you can't say yes to at that point.
No, I used to call him all the time and be like, oh my gosh, I double booked myself again. And I would be like losing my mind because I couldn't be at 2 places at one time. That's how chronically overscheduled my life was. And it felt just so like I was constantly letting people down. Like I couldn't keep up, and there were a lot of good things that I had said yes to, but really, honestly, I had to learn that sometimes saying yes to something, like especially, here's how you can kind of like funnel things out. Well, this one part of the book really stood out to me, where like if it puts your spirit in a bad mood. Have you ever been given an opportunity to say yes to something but you don't really want to do it, but you know it's like the right thing to do, and so saying no to that makes you feel like a bad person because it's like, well, but a good person would say yes. But if it
like leading 2 scout patrols at the same time.
yes, he did. Oh, that was nuts. But like if it puts your spirit in a place where you feel resentful towards that commitment, then...
For example, scouts, which is my biggest regret.
that...
One of my biggest regrets.
Why?
I do regret not keeping the boys in scouts longer and letting them truly go through that process.
He's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, and we ended up pulling out because the commitments that were being expected of me being a former Eagle Scout was like, oh, if we have an open position, you're going to help fill it. I was literally the leader of 2 different patrols, and they wanted me on the count. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but
I
you
can't
were
do
traveling
that.
so much. Like, he's traveling 80%.
That was that brief point in our life where I was not traveling as much.
As much, but still like 50%. So, like, he's
Yeah.
traveling 80% now, but it was like 50% back then. And it was like, no.
Anyways.
So, anyway, if it puts your spirit in a place where you feel resentment or just kind of like a disconnect between, like, being joyful in saying yes to that, then you should probably say no. But the truth of the matter is, when you say yes to something that isn't necessarily your best yes, you're actually taking that opportunity away from somebody that thing is their best yes. So if it's something that like you're not super excited about, or it's not your best yes, then don't feel guilty about it, because guess what? It's an abundant world. There's no scarcity here. That's somebody else's
about that all
best
the time.
yes. So find freedom, like say no. And so we just wanted to encourage you guys that it's not lack of time. Learning to say no is my biggest hurdle.
Truth, Kevin.
Yes. It's not lack of time. It is, lack of boundaries. It's lack of time management. It's lack of prioritization. You have to really ask yourself, like, what do you want for your life, right? And I knew that with part-time coaching, I wanted it to, eventually give us more bandwidth for, our kids, for travel, for college. I wanted it to replace my full-time income. So it was pretty simple once I had a clear vision for where I wanted the direction of my life to go, for me to say, okay, this isn't helping accomplish that vision, so it is not my best yes. So I will say no to that, and I will say yes, to things that are going to move the needle forward toward the life that I want to live. I need freedom. I'm a yes girl. Yeah, we all are.
Learning to say no is hard, but so worth it.
Yes, Holly.
As long as it's not for a client that I need us to pay attention to for revenue magic. Other than that, say no all day long, Holly.
So anyway, we hope...
And she knows I have the same issue in that group. So.
Yeah, we hope that brings you a degree of freedom today. And, practice saying no this week. But say yes to you.
But do it smart. Don't say no just to say no. Say no because you're saying yes to something else. Mm-hmm. That's a big part of it as well. It's not just... I have this calling and I'm only going to do this thing and that's it and all this other stuff doesn't matter. Well, if you're not actually being called and actually being put in those spots, you might not have that calling. That might be an actual pipe dream or a wish.
Well, you have to take action.
Right.
I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of people wish that their life, would change, or they wish that they would feel motivation to change some things, and it's really not that at all. It's about getting very crystal clear about what direction you want your life to go, and using that as a filter for your time commitments. What is going to get the most priority in your life? Is it helping you achieve what your goals and dreams? And I think honestly, we get so busy at achieving our goals and dreams for our employer that we don't even think about the goals and dreams that we want for our own personal life. We don't think about where we want our finances to be 5-10 years from now, where we want our leisure time to be 5 to 10 years from now. What do we want to leave for our kids 5 to 10 years from now? Because we're just so stinking busy trying to accomplish everything for the people that we work hard for, right? And we should work hard for them, but take time, take inventory of where you want your life to go. And ask yourself, are all these commitments helping you move that way? I'll tell you another thing, and then we'll wrap up.
We're going to wrap it up because we just got the 10% low battery.
I know, we don't have a lot of battery. But a lot of women don't realize that they could actually gain back some time if they would just reach out and find some support and help. So all those activities we, our kids have and we drive them to everywhere, guess what? Carpool is a magical thing. You actually don't have to be the person to drive your kids to said activity 100% of the time. Now, I know as a parent, you want to be there, you want to watch your kid. It's a beautiful stage of life. I can't stand sitting still for, I remember when our kids were in karate and I'm sitting there for an hour on end and I'm okay, great, punching, kicking, this is great, but oh my gosh, I'm sitting here on my butt for an hour.
That would be why I ended up getting a black belt.
Oh my gosh.
Sitting on the sidelines drove me nuts. I couldn't do it. I did the whole thing. I ended up on the mat.
It's a whole nother life. But all I'm saying is come on, people, be smart. You can team up with a couple other moms. I'll take Monday, Wednesday. You take Tuesday, Thursday. Everybody wins back a little bit of their time.
Facebook Live it or Zoom it.
What? Oh, who can drive my kids? Call Uber.
Practice.
Just call Uber.
Zoom call practice. If you really want to see it, have the person who's carpooling Zoom call it so you all can see it at that point.
Anyway, it's just a crazy world we live in. We got to be intentional about it. We got to make sure that we aren't excusing away the most important things in our life.
But the overall, back to the message here, I don't have time is you basically saying that's not a priority for me.
Totally.
And if that's the case, fine.
Own it.
Own that, put it away. God bless you, don't do it. There's not enough time to do all that stuff. But if it really is a priority for you, if whatever it is you're saying I don't have the time is a priority, you do have the time. You just haven't truly made it the priority you say that it is.
This is true.
Sorry, I'm going to call everybody out on this one.
This is hard truth from the Bowens tonight. Anyway, we love you guys, and we just want to see you live your very best life and step into the full potential that God has called you to be. Hey, Kyla. Hey, Karina. Oh my gosh,
that
all
got a
these
whole bunch of
awesome
likes.
people. Jacqueline and Lance and Lonnie and Jamie.
And we've made it to the Magic Mirror section of the presentation tonight.
What would a live be without Magic Mirror? I mean, come on, that's part of the fun. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in. We always love your likes and comments and shares. And so, oh, by the way, a fun thing happened to me today. I was interviewed by my friend Lori. And so you can see that on our page. And if you want to share the love and give a kind word as to how you know us, we sure would appreciate you spreading the love.
Hey, fun thing didn't happen to me. I didn't get interviewed by anybody today. I
Jealous.
did not show up on a webinar.
Jealous.
I did not get on a plane. I actually just went to my office and worked and then didn't roll like I said I was going to
I'm
roll.
sorry. There can only be one girl boss in this family, and that's me.
Duh.
Bye, guys.